Goon Squad on 1. 3, 2, 1. Goon Squad. Welcome everybody. Goon Squad here to talk to you a little bit about fantasy football. We're spicing it up a little bit today. We got some AFC standings. We want to do something a little bit different before the season started. Don't worry, we're still going to tie some fantasy relevance into this, but we just want to give you some predictions of what the standings are going to be for the AFC. Damien is going to go first here with the AFC South.
I have the Tennessee Titans winning the AFC South, going 11-6. I think they're really good offensively, but defensively it's kind of so. I mean, they added a couple pieces, but they also lost Dory Jackson and just cut him outright. So just defense worries me a little bit. But my team that I have going in second, and which is going to be my sleeper team, is the Indianapolis Colts. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Carson Wentz. Last year in Philly, or even the past few years, hasn't been his fault. I think he's a good quarterback, and he has a lot of pieces in Indianapolis that can definitely thrive. He can thrive under. He has a running game, offensive line, good defense. He hasn't had that since, I think, when the Eagles went on. Yeah. And guess who was there in 2017?
Frank Reich.
Exactly. So I have the Colts going 10-7.
And then he also has the Jags going 5-12, and the Texans obviously are 2-15 because they are looking terrible this year.
Dumpster fire.
Next, we got the AFC West. Gabe's going to take that away here.
Obviously, I mean, everyone's picked presumptuously. I got the Chiefs going 13-4. I think the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I mean, they got a whole new revamped O-line. They went and got Joe Thuney, who I thought was the best guard the Patriots had.
Yeah.
They signed a couple guys in free agency.
Traded for Orlando Brown
Jr. I think he's a great left tackle.
Yeah.
He did play right, but with the injury to the Ravens tackle last year, he filled in and played that year. I thought he did exceptionally well. I think now that Patty has even extra protection, you still have your core with Patty, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Clyde's back, maybe more healthy this year. I think for fantasy relevance, that's what you're looking for. Those are your big four. Three of those, you could make a case for first-round draft pick in any kind of league, I believe. And it's there, the volume's there. That's why I really like my sleeper team for that division. I think I have the Chargers. I have Justin Herbert. I think he avoids the sophomore slump the way he played last year. I don't think he's going to encounter one. He seemed pretty confident, made the right calls. Really, they threw the ball a lot. I think it was almost 600 times he threw the ball last year. That's pretty high passing offense. I mean, new head coach. I think it brings new life. I like what he brings. I think that's Brandon Staley, I believe.
Yeah.
He was the D coordinator for the Rams.
Yeah.
I like what he did there. I think if he turns that, that's what I thought they needed help, the defense. If he brings that defensive aspect in there, especially with this is going to be a first year in a while that we're finally going to see Derwin James. I think he can lead that defense. He's been out with those knee injuries a lot.
Yeah.
So I have the Chargers going 10-7. Big year for Austin Eckler as well.
Yeah, then Gabe also has the Broncos at 7-10 and the Raiders at 8-9. So, and then next we're going to do AFC East, which was me. I predicted that one. So I had the Bills at 12-5. Sean McDermott's a great offensive mind. He's got, Josh Allen, who's looking like a star in the making here, who basically became a star last year. He's probably going to step up to that superstar status this year. Him and Diggs, man, have that great connection. They're doing amazing. So I don't look for that to slow down. They're going to be one of the most pass-heavy teams in the league again this year.
Yeah.
So Gabriel Davis is probably going to take a step in the right direction again. Next, my sleeper for to come second in division here is the Patriots. Patriots had a down year last year. Bill Belichick wasn't having any more of that. Went out and drafted Mac Jones. Went out and had a spending spree in free agency. Never does that. So he signed those linebackers. Then, he signed those receivers. Then he signed Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. You match that together with Belichick's mind. I just don't see them losing games again this year. That's not who Belichick is. I think he'll make up for that again. So, Dolphins I have 8-9, and the Jets I have 6-11. So then we tag team the AFC North here. So the AFC North, we have the Browns at 14-3, which anybody that tells you the Browns is the Browns does not watch football anymore.
Yeah,
because the Browns are one of the best teams in football this year.
They got better. They didn't lose anyone, I don't recall, and they added from Jadeveon Clowney to some of the linebackers. They hit that linebacker from Notre Dame in the draft that fell. I thought it was a great steal.
And they bring that amazing O-line. They got a top 5 O-line. They got that running back room. That's it's insane. Baker Mayfield's going to take another step this year. I mean, Kevin Stefanski's a great offensive coordinator. So, hurts Damian's soul that he left the Vikings. But next we got the Ravens at 11-5. The Ravens are usually pretty good. Lamar Jackson's one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league. John Harbaugh's a great offensive mind. Don't look for that offense to slow down. That offensive line's still good, even after losing Orlando Brown. So don't sleep on the Ravens. Even after that J.K. Dobbins injury, they could still win 11 games. There's
I
no.
like us up
No,
there.
there's
Steelers are at 8-9. You know, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but they got a declining quarterback and a bad O-line. I just don't know how well that offense is going to do this year. So, the Bengals 6-11. They didn't add a lot of O-line help this year. It's going to hurt Joe Burrow a lot. So, the main thing we want to take away though from these standings, guys, is you look at the best teams that we projected: the Bills, the Chiefs, the Titans, the Browns. They all have superstar fantasy playmakers.
Yeah.
Each team that usually wins a lot of games has superstar playmakers, and more games they win, they have more superstar playmakers because they're usually putting up more points. Now, I'm not saying that you have to grab people from the good teams every time, but when you're in a mid-round decision and you want to go, you know, somebody from a worse team to a better team, when you talk about like Melvin Gordon or maybe another mid-round guy that I can't think off the top of my head, but you know the Broncos are a lower status team, then you maybe think about the teams that are a little better that those guys are slipping.
Josh Jacobs.
Like Josh Jacobs. That
I like
kind
Tyler Boyd too.
Yeah, you know,
Garbage
so.
time. I think he's just a lot of garbage time.
You know, that's not to say that the bad teams can't have fantasy producing players. You look at James Robinson last year in the Jaguars; they won like 2 games, right? And James Robinson was like a top 8 back or something. So you know, there's still fantasy relevance for some people, but mainly the teams that have the better records are going to have the better fantasy players because they're putting up numbers.
Yeah.
So, as always, we thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate your love and support so far. We're just trying to get off the ground here. As always, thank you, our faceless wonder, James Rapinski, our audio producer. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Please comment. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.